Welcome, everyone, to another exciting episode of Final Take. I am Jocelyn Pomplin, and joining me on the debate desk tonight are Chris Watkins and Marty Kaufman. Gentlemen, did you guys have a relaxing spring break?
A little too relaxing. I spent most of it on the couch this past week.
Yeah, same here. My most relaxation came in at Chicago Airport, a 7-hour layover, but we're back, so it's good.
Well, I was able to help my dad do some spring cleanups and then, of course, spent the rest of the weekend on the couch watching basketball. Well, tonight we will discuss the latest in Pointer sports along with March Madness and other news from around the sports world. First, we begin with Pointers men's basketball. The Pointers are NCAA Division III national champions after defeating the Augustana Vikings 70-54 in Salem, Virginia. This is the fourth championship for the Pointers in the last 12 years and improves their record in Salem to 8-0. Austin Riff led the Pointers in scoring with 17 points and was also named the Final Four's most outstanding player. Stephen Pelkoffer and Joe Ritchie also joined Riff on the all-tournament team. Ritchie, Pelkoffer, and Alex Richard also scored in double figures with 15, 14, and 12 points respectively. For the game, the Pointers shot a remarkable 12 for 18 from behind the arc and 55% for the game, while forcing 15 Augustana turnovers. How were the Pointers able to run through the tournament and take home the title?
Well, like we've been saying it all year, their best asset as a team was their defense all year. I mean, they won by an average of 18.5 points throughout the entire tournament. And their offense finally showed up as well. So that's the thing we've had all year, was that the offense was never consistent. They started playing their best basketball at the right time. I think this team just got hot. They played their defensive game, which has been rock solid all year. I don't know how many times this team has held opponents to under 50 points a game. I mean, I think who was the team they played in the regional final?
East Texas Baptist.
Yeah, they held them to under
points.
28 points in that game. It was the lowest amount of points scored, I think, in any NCAA basketball
Division
game.
III.
Yeah, Division III. So the defense was the reason why. I mean, that old cliche of defense wins championships. It works in basketball too. So, I mean, congrats to the Pointers. I mean, defense wins championships and then showed.
Yeah, we go back to that Oshkosh game when they lost in that conference tournament, and I think that really woke the Pointers up because they came on that tournament shooting collectively 52% from the field, 45% from three-point range, and 77% from the free throw line. So like Marty said, when you have that defensive presence at first, and then you can come on the offensive end and kill your opponent inside and outside and at the foul line, it's like, what do you do if you're an opponent? So the senior laden class and that experience, I think, really lended itself into this championship run. So, again, congrats to the Pointers.
And they were definitely hungry after what happened last year, losing to Emory in the Sweet 16. And then Oshkosh, the common denominator here, they beat Oshkosh on a buzzer beater, go on an 8-game win streak, lose to Oshkosh in the WIAC tournament, get hot, and win the whole thing. So the seniors definitely helped, and the hot shooting 12-18 is absolutely unbelievable. And defense, only giving up 54 points a game in the regular season and besting that come postseason. Well, can the Pointers repeat next year, and how do they do it, if they can?
Oh, man. Well, coming into this year, we were wondering, how is this team going to compete after last year? I mean, I think everyone can agree. Everyone thought last year's team was the team that would win the national championship instead of this year's team. I mean, early on in the season, too, this team struggled. So I don't want to write off next year's team because this year's group had to learn to play a lot more than last year. I mean, it's another year of the bench is going to start taking more prominent roles in the lineup, just like this year was. I think next year's even more of an unknown than this year because, I mean, Richard, Pelkoffer, they all had some roles. This year's team really focused on those guys again this year. They had more prominent roles. I didn't see much coming from the bench. So it's going to be a tough task, but I think Sembling's going to get these guys ready for next year, and these guys will be ready to defend the title.
Yeah, there's a lot of senior drop-off going into next season. You have Alex Richard, Joe Ritchie, the aristocrat, as I like to call him, Austin Riff, and Jordan Lutz all, graduating. So I think the onus will be on Stephen Pelkoffer, the Pell Raiser, as I affectionately call him, and Sean McGann, both juniors going into their senior seasons to really lead the incoming wave of freshmen and the sophomores and juniors that'll be next season. And like Marty said, I think Bob Semling will, keep that team-oriented approach, and I really think that they'll be in it in the long run because there's not a whole lot of hero ball, and it's a very multifaceted approach on offense, and defense will always keep you in games.
And I think this year we saw it too. They didn't really have a standout guy like before. Standout scorer they didn't rely on. They relied on everybody. I think next year will be the same way. I think we're going to see a lot more team play than just focus on maybe one guy leading the team scoring-wise.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Steve Pelkoffer, Sean McGann will definitely be counted on to lead this team. The bench that they had this year, they'll be juniors next year, so they'll be upperclassmen. They just don't have the playing time experience. So it'll be interesting how that works out. But with Bob Selming, one of the best coaches in the country, they should find a way to figure it out, especially with the way they lean on their defense, which takes hustle and athleticism over talent any day. Well, the Pointers men's hockey team advanced to the Frozen Four in Minneapolis for the second straight year after they defeated Hamline University 4-2 on Saturday night. Lawrence Cornelia scored 2 third-period goals to help lead the Pointers to victory. The other goals were scored by Joe Kalas and WIAC Player of the Year Kevin Gibson. Brandon Jager had 25 saves to record his 61st career win, which tied Todd Chin for the most in program history. What are some things the Pointers did in this game that you hope they carry with them for the rest of the tournament?
I hope they carry with them is that they put the puck in the net and they start shooting more. I mean, against it was River Falls, the WEAC championship, they wouldn't shoot the puck. I don't know how many times they had the power play and they wouldn't shoot. This past week, they put a lot of shots on net. Give the Hamlin goalie credit; he made some saves, but they got to put the puck in the net. Come this weekend in Minnesota, that's going to be their key. And also, too, I think their special teams need some work. They've had some struggles recently, especially in the power play and the penalty kill. Power play they gave up. They even gave a shorthanded goal 2 weeks ago to River Falls, and they weren't scoring much on Hamlin. They had a couple power plays. I think they had a 5-minute major right away. They didn't capitalize on that, and they had some other ones that it's really just taking their chances and capitalizing on those.
Yeah, I agree. I think the name of the game this season for the hockey team has been aggressiveness, and you saw that in the last game where they outshot Hamlin 39-27. So I feel like they'll have to keep, kind of being aggressive in this upcoming game because their opponents, they've won 3 consecutive 1-point games. So another thing, you don't really want to get into that third period and it's like a tie game or a 1-goal game either way because these guys have shown that they can pull out the close victories, that you're not scared of the moment or the pressure that comes with it. So I think the Pointers will definitely have to get on top of Amherst early on and stay on top if they want to win.
And that's what I've noticed too, in that the third period in the last 2 games that they've played, Stevens Point, is that they've really kind of come out a little bit slow in the early on. They've had to put it on late to put teams away. Or they lost River Falls too. They gave up 2 third-period goals. I think they were both special teams goals given up too. So it's that third period, they have to really come out firing on all cylinders too. They struggled to do that recently.
All right, the Pointers will play Amherst, as you may have heard, Friday at 7:30 p.m. at Ritter Arena in Minneapolis. What will the Pointers see from this Amherst team, and how will they be able to beat them?
Well, it's a team that you wouldn't normally see Stevens Point play. They're from the New England region area, but they are 22-4-2 this year. It's their first appearance in the tournament since 2012, so they've kind of had some experience, but not recently, so it's a whole new group. They've won their last 8 games and 13 of their last 14, and they have this. Their goalie is second in the nation in save percentage, and they have the 6th best defense in the nation. So this team is really riding high right now. They are closing out, like you said, they've won 3 1-goal games the last 3 in a row. So it's going to be very hard to score, I think, on this team. So Point's got to come out and get offense going early on because I think if it's a low-scoring game, Point might suffer a little bit. This team has struggled recently in the close games. I think they've not really shown something to me. But I think Point needs to get out early on these guys. It's going to be a tough matchup.
Yeah, and that goes back to the aggressiveness early on and try and get on top of them because if the Pointers, their shaky third periods compared to Amherst's kind of resilient third period play, that'd be a potential mismatch. So if it gets like a close game in the third, I think the further along it goes on, if the Pointers aren't up or at least controlling the pace of the game, I'm going to get progressively more nervous as the game wears on because Amherst has shown the ability to close out and win those tough games.
And that's the thing is that they've had the last couple games, Point has gone up on the scoreboard early on opponents, but the problem is they haven't been able to put them away early. That's what they need to do. Right. They need to get these guys down and out pretty quick, I think.
I think they can take a page from the basketball team. It all starts on the defensive end of the ice. They start with defense. That'll lead to some offensive breakouts. And then as long as their offense gets hot from there, it all starts on the defensive end, so they'll have a chance. There will be a fan bus traveling to Minneapolis that will load at 2:30 p.m. on Friday and depart at 3 p.m. from the HEC and will return following the game. Cost of the fan bus is $25 round trip. If the Pointers win on Friday night, a fan bus will load at 1:30 p.m. Saturday and depart at 2. Tickets for the game are $25 for adults and $20 for students and include both games Friday night and the championship game on Saturday. Well, as the weather has warmed and the snow has melted, it's baseball season again. The Pointers opened their season over spring break in Florida and came away with a 7-3 record. What were some things that stood out from their trip to Florida?
Well, what stood out to me was in their second week of play in Florida, they went 4-1. It was the pitching that really dominated the pitching here. They held batters to 185 batting average, and they had a team ERA of 1.54. that's a recipe for success when you have dominant pitching to keep you in. You can then have the offense put up a run or two, and you can rely on your pitching to hold that shutout or keep opponents to low scoring. So the pitching is on the right track right now for this team to succeed this year.
Yeah, and I feel also on the offensive end, they're kind of increasing their output as well. They had a couple 11-run games. I think they had another one where they scored 9 runs, and then you had one where they scored 7 and one where they scored 6. So combined with that pitching, the bats are really starting to show themselves early on this season. And if they can keep that up, then we can be looking at a potentially deep run in the playoffs for them as well.
Yeah, I know this team was expected to rely heavily on their offense, so hopefully they can get some good pitching like they did the second week down in Florida. Well, the Pointers return to the Diamond when they travel to St. Norbert for a doubleheader Saturday afternoon, followed by a doubleheader at home on Sunday against Ripon. We'll be back after a short commercial break to talk Spash basketball and the NCAA tournament.
My name is Julia Flaherty. I'm the current promotions director at SBTV. My job allows for me to have a lot of personal creative direction because that is the team environment that we instill here at SBTV. This past summer, I had the opportunity to write for hercampus.com as well as thedailyquirk.com. Personally, I feel that being involved with SBTV has really helped boost my confidence and my ability to network with other students. If student media is something that interests you, and even if you're not really sure what student media means, you should stop by our studios. We are looking forward to having you involved this year, and we cannot wait to make media with you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The Spash Panthers ended their season as champions as well as defeating the 3-time defending champion Germantown 67-51 in the WIAA Division I state championship game. Trev Anderson and Sam Hauser each had 25 points, and Hauser also had 10 rebounds. With 4 starters returning, are we going to see a repeat and a possible rematch with Germantown next year?
It's pretty early on to predict matchups, but I think this is probably going to be the return matchup next year. I think Stevens Point, this lineup is deep, and they got some studs on this team, so I have 100% faith in Stevens Point making it back down to Madison. And it's kind of funny that we got the matchup we've always kind of predicted this year. We always talk about Spash and Germantown happening this year, and I was not expecting Spash to come out and win by double digits. I was kind of surprising, but I think that shows what kind of team Spash is, and that these guys can have it for next year. Only losing 1 game, and I think they can almost run the table next year as well.
I agree. That was just a magnificent performance in that game against Germantown. And when you return 4 of your 5 starters for the next season, I think that kind of makes that championship expectation, pretty much sets it in stone. I mean, there'll be some new pieces along the way, but when you have the core of a championship team, I feel that experience will be able to lend itself over the next season and possibly in the rematch with Germantown. But either way, I expect the Spash Panthers to be somewhere in that mix deep come tournament time.
I think a bold prediction is I don't think they lose a conference game next year at all. I think this team rolls right through. It's a pretty weak conference. I think that they can just easily take care of.
Yeah, definitely. They'll have a great chance. Trev Anderson returning, both Sam and Joey Hauser returning. They got a great three-point shooter, other players coming back. Germantown also had a strong junior class this year, so they'll be senior laden. They'll be good like always with Coach Showalter, so I think we definitely have a rematch in Madison. Well, with the Spash win and the Pointers National Championship, does this make Stevens Point the basketball capital of Wisconsin?
Ooh, I don't know. I think maybe for one day it was, but Milwaukee, that's a basketball town. You got a pro team, you got a D1 college team, 2 D1 college teams, and you got a bunch of top high school teams in the state. They produce some top talent down there. So I think for one day, Stevens Point was the Wisconsin basketball capital of the world. I don't think it is from now on. I think Milwaukee is the basketball capital for Wisconsin.
I kind of think the way things are going right now with the Pointers doing so well in basketball and hockey, and then you have Spash, I'm almost ready to call Stevens Point Titletown USA, or at least in Wisconsin. But I think for now, we just ride the wave, enjoy the championship, the success of the city, and hopefully, that progresses into next season and beyond.
Yeah, it was funny. I was here on Saturday. Everyone's gone, like, with break and everything. You wouldn't know Stevens Point won a couple titles because everyone was traveling all over the place. It was kind of really quiet here, but it was pretty awesome to see all the titles being brought back.
Yeah, I definitely think for the short time being that Stevens Point's the basketball town in the state of Wisconsin for now. Well, we now turn our attention to the NCAA tournament. Before we get started, how are you guys' brackets looking after the first weekend?
Well, I got 3 teams on the Final Four still. Struggled a lot in the South region, a lot of non-upsets I chose. I relied on Stephen F. Austin to win and go to the Sweet 16. That was kind of a dumb pick, but Wichita State, I had that one right, so shockers. There we go.
Yeah, they definitely, you could tell they waited long enough and they took advantage of that game against Kansas. My bracket's still pretty good. I didn't have Villanova winning. I have Duke as my national champion. So I think as long as I get the championship right, or at least the championship game right, because I have Kentucky being there also, although I'm a little iffy on that now. But it's in good shape considering.
Yeah, considering I lost Iowa State right away, a team participating in my championship game, I took a big hit there, but all the other teams are doing pretty good to get my picks in the Sweet 16, so I rebounded well. Well, what did you guys think of the upsets on the first weekend, especially with 2 14 seeds over 3 seeds?
I got to give Georgia State, they were 14, right? Georgia
Yeah.
State, yeah. That guy shot the ball. It was one of those, why are you, oh, that's why you shot it kind of things. Like, just don't, that's NCAA March Madness right there. When those guys take those deep threes, it's like, how are they going to make that? And they make it. And I think the shot of his dad falling out of the chair is pretty great too. But a lot of upsets. And then the second day, a lot of miss-upsets. The one thing you notice is that what happened on Friday was I saw so many teams that wouldn't capitalize or they wouldn't shoot the ball at the end is the problem. And I think a couple times like a lot of miscues that they turned over the ball late in the game. There was a lot of mistakes in the second day of game. So I think there was a lot of upsets that did not happen that probably should have.
Yeah, I think another one of those upsets that we saw that opening weekend was that UCLA and SMU game, like that crazy goaltending call. Like, how bad can you feel to lose a game like that? Like, that's something I would truthfully never forget if I were in that player's position. But that Georgia State game, like you said, R.J. Hunter from about 100 miles away from the three-point basket, or from the basket from three-point range. I mean, when that went in, I just knew when he shot it, I said, it's going to go in. And sure enough, it did. So that was incredible.
And like I said, I think the better buzzer beater of the weekend, too, was NC State in their first game. The guy put it in. It was almost like it almost reminded me of the, I think it was 83 when that Jim Valvano team hit that last shot. Like, kind of put it in as like an alley-oop or something. But it was similar to that. It was pretty cool to see. Cincinnati-Purdue, sure, it was a thrilling game, but no one made a shot in that overtime period. I think I saw brick shot after brick shot in that overtime period, so that was pretty exciting. That's March Madness, so that's the thing. You've noticed that these guys, they don't make their shots, which makes the games more exciting, is that the scores stay the same, almost that they're so close because teams aren't making shots. But I think as we get further and further down this tournament, you're going to see the top teams that are going to capitalize on their opportunities.
It was definitely a great day Thursday, seeing teams pull off upsets that we weren't expecting, and then the teams we were expecting obviously didn't make it through for the upsets. Well, we begin with the Midwest region. Number 1 overall seed Kentucky fought off some slow starts to advance to the Sweet 16, where they will be joined by West Virginia, Notre Dame, and Wichita State. What teams do you have moving on to play for a berth in the Final Four, and who gets that berth to go to Indianapolis?
Well, my bracket says I have Kentucky, Duke, and Arizona. I would love to see Wichita State go against Kentucky in a rematch from last year's game because I think people really overrate Wichita State a lot. I mean, they've been one of the most successful teams in the last couple of years, but I think this is Kentucky's year. I don't see how Kentucky loses. I don't think Wisconsin gets past Arizona.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that? Okay. I think the powers of Kentucky, Duke, and Arizona make it. Out of that East region, I have no idea who's coming out of there. I mean, you can pick Louisville, Michigan State, or NC State. They're hot right now. That's a crazy region right now, I think.
I think that in that Midwest region, definitely Kentucky will beat West Virginia, in my opinion. But that Notre Dame and Wichita State game, I think that's going to be one of the best games of the tournament. I expect Wichita State to win, although it could go either way. I just like their team-oriented approach, how they just seem for like a mid-major, quote-unquote, they really seem to relish that big moment. Like in that Kansas game, they've been waiting for that game for like 2 decades, and you saw how they came out and performed. So I like them to play Kentucky in that Elite Eight with the roles reversed, kind of Kentucky with the undefeated season this time, and Wichita State trying to be the ones to end it.
I think it'll be Kentucky against Wichita State in the Elite Eight matchup, and then it'll probably be Kentucky, just too much size down low for the Shockers to handle. But It's March, anything can happen. Well, in the West region, the Wisconsin Badgers defeated Coastal Carolina and a tough Oregon squad to also advance to the Sweet 16. There they will play North Carolina on Thursday, and Arizona will play Xavier. Can the Badgers make a repeat run to the Final Four, or will one of these other teams be going to Indianapolis?
They can make a run to the Final Four. I'm not saying they. I think this year it's different. I think Arizona comes out on top this time around. I think the Badgers right now, Sunday showed me that this team is flawed. They've kind of struggled a little bit, but they pulled away in the end of these games. But I think once you play a team like Arizona or even North Carolina is not a bad team either. So this is going to be a tough road for Wisconsin. I didn't see a lot from them on Sunday night that really showed me that this team can dominate games and pull away from these better teams. I don't think this team at matchup against Kentucky would be even a matchup for Wisconsin. I think Kentucky would handle them.
I also agree. I think Wisconsin will beat the Tar Heels, but my problem with the Badgers is the same problem I have with the Virginia Cavaliers. I don't think they score enough to win. Like you saw Virginia on Sunday losing to Michigan State, couldn't put the ball in the bucket. So I feel that, if they play Arizona, which I believe they will as well, I think Arizona is too much offensive firepower and the defensively sound team as well to knock off the Badgers and advance to the Final Four.
I don't know how you say they can't score when they have the most efficient offense in all of the NCAA.
Well, you saw it on Sunday, but when Frank Kaminsky's not getting involved in the offensive game, they're struggling to score points. I mean, Sam Decker was shooting some threes. I think his game should not be shooting threes. It should be driving to the hoop. He should be doing that. That's what he should.
He has the ability.
He has the ability, but he wasn't knocking him down. I'm not trying to. He's probably their second best player.
I don't know
on
what
the
game
team.
you were watching, but it looked like he had the hottest hand from three on Sunday.
Okay, maybe the second half, but early on he was struggling early. He was one of the reasons why this game was so close. I think his game needs to be slashing and driving to the hoop. That's what he does best, I think. I think you leave the three-point shooting to Frank Kaminsky or Bronson Kane. Those guys hit or Josh Gosser. I think you got to have Sam Decker more down low and driving to the hoop than shooting outside.
Well, the whole team can go inside or outside. It's definitely the toughest region out of all the regions. Any one of those three teams, North Carolina, Wisconsin, or Arizona, could easily make the Final Four. North Carolina not going to have forward Kennedy Meeks against the Badgers, so I got the Badgers going there. And plus, they'll should get Trayvon Jackson back this weekend, so we'll see how he works.
Really clutch for them this year.
Well, adds depth in a shooter. Well, in the East region, the top two seeds in Villanova and Virginia have both been eliminated. The four that remain are North Carolina State, Louisville, Oklahoma, and Michigan State. Now, this is probably the weakest bracket. Who is the favorite to come out of the East region?
I think all the hooplas with Michigan State right now and Tom Izzo, so I think they're the favorite, but don't count. I think it's Louisville, Michigan State, one of those two teams coming out. Oklahoma, Big 12. Big 12 is really struggling in the tournament this year. I think it continues, and NC State, they could be a surprise, but I don't think they can beat Louisville and Michigan State back-to-back.
Yeah, we keep agreeing. I see Louisville and Michigan State also in that Elite Eight. I just think that tournament resume of Tom Izzo, he always, no matter how they play in the regular season, they always come to play in March. So I feel that Michigan State, Drew Valentine against Montrezl Harrell of Louisville be like the key matchup. And if I had to pick, I would take the Spartans by a hair. But that's going to be a good game if it happens.
Yeah, Tom Izzo's got that March magic. Oklahoma struggled in their first two games. I got Michigan State. That March magic is too good with Brandon Dawson, Travis Trice, a couple seniors leading the way. Well, last but not least is the South region. There, Duke will play Utah, while UCLA, a team many thought shouldn't even be in the tournament, will take on Gonzaga. Is this the year Gonzaga finally gets to the Final Four, or will it be one of the other three?
It's going to be Duke, I think. I think this team is just a lot better than years past Duke teams, I don't think they'll slip up like teams in the past for Duke. I think this team right now, they're clicking. This team is, I think, ready for a Final Four appearance and a possible matchup with Kentucky.
I agree. I think Duke will get past Utah fairly easily towards the. I think they'll pull away towards the end, and I think they'll meet Gonzaga in the Elite Eight. And Duke, I think, obviously will win, but I just never have really been too high on Gonzaga. Yeah, they put up nice regular seasons every year, but it's like they can't overcome those hurdles to get to the Final Four. And I don't see it being any different against Jahlil Okafor, Quinn Cook, and company in that Elite Eight potentially.
I see Gonzaga beating UCLA, but I don't see them getting to the Final Four. Duke will probably make it, but watch out for Utah. They got a good young center, Jakob Pertl, and then the point guard in Delon Wright. So there'll be a challenge for Duke, especially on the defensive end. Well, we'll take a quick commercial break, but when we return, the Milwaukee Bucks and other national news.
Don't have a television? Don't worry. SPTV is available on demand at uwsp.edu/SPTV. Find your favorite shows on our website, plus links to all of our YouTube content. Stay up to date with SPTV news that includes information about campus and community happenings. And don't forget to like us on Facebook. We're SPTV-UWSP Television. SPTV. Let's make media together.
Got an itch to be on air? Join the SPTV news crew. Being an on and off air reporter will help you gain experience in interviewing, shooting and editing video, and reporting behind the anchor desk. Join SPTV News, pointing to you.
To football. After one season in the NFL, former Badgers and San Francisco 49ers linebacker Chris Borland has decided to retire after a scare with the effects of head trauma surrounding the game. Guys, what do you think of his decision to retire?
I think if it's in his best interest, he made the right decision. And we know how often injured he was at Wisconsin, too. He had a lot of shoulder problems, so he was out. But once he played, he was one of the best linebackers in the country, and I think it showed this year when he was in the NFL. He's one of the upcoming linebackers, but he's got fears of head trauma. We've seen what can happen to players post-retirement, so I think he doesn't want to play anymore. That's fine by me. It's his choice, and I think he can say that he made it to the NFL and he had a successful run in it, even though if it was 1 year, he made it. He lived his dream, and he wants to continue to live his life now.
Yeah, I definitely applaud him and respect him for his decision. I think at the end of the day, it's always health over money. And like Marty said, those injuries, and those effects from playing football long term as you get into like your 50s and your 60s, those chances rise exponentially. So to get out after 1 year, and like he said, he already had those kind of injury concerns back in college. So I think it was the right decision, and if he's okay with it, I think everybody else should be also.
Yeah, he's definitely a smart guy. He's had his injury problems in the past. He wants to have a life after football. He's even going to pay the 49ers some of his money back that he earned. And he's the fourth player under the age of 30 to retire in the past couple weeks. What do you guys think of those other moves?
I think it's them wanting to live their lives. They know the effects of what they're doing. It's their job. They know what can happen to them post-retirement, so it's really their decision. I don't think we should judge them or do anything. They chose to play and they chose to quit or retire. They want to walk away from it. They want to live their lives. So let's let them live their lives.
Right, such a minority of players get to go out on their own terms. So you see guys like Jake Locker and Patrick Willis leaving the game early by some people's standards. But again, that health thing, your health, that's your entire life right there. Football is only on average 3.5 years. If you're good, you'll get beyond that. But definitely, your life has way more weight to it than 3.5 years.
Well, to the Packers now. After signing wide receiver Randall Cobb to a 4-year deal and right tackle Brian Bulaga to a 5-year deal, as usual, the Packers have been pretty quiet in free agency. With some need at the cornerback and defensive tackle position, do you guys think the Packers have done enough in free agency?
I don't think they've done enough. I think what they need to do is they need to just get some guys depth. I think they're going to re-sign Raji and Troy Guy into that depth to the nose tag position. I think cornerback, that's going to be addressed in the draft. There's no free agent corners out there that they need to go get. And I think inside linebacker, they have to sign at least one. I mean, they need one to provide depth. If not, then I think they're going to maybe you might see Clay Matthews playing a little bit more inside. Maybe he'll be kind of like a hybrid linebacker. They'll kind of move him around the inside and outside because they have depth at the outside. But they might need to re-sign. They have to re-sign at least Raji or Guy to get depth on the D-line. Then they will have to address the linebackers in the draft.
Just for the experience, in case you do get a D tackle in the draft, as far as the overall the Packers, I think they've kind of got their first two on that checklist. So, go for a corner in the draft and see where we end up.
Well, unfortunately, that's all we have time for today. We thank everyone for tuning in with us today. I'd like to thank Marty Kaufman and Chris Watkins for joining me today with their insightful opinions on the debate desk. And a big thanks to our technical staff and all their hard work to make this possible. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at SPTV UWSP Television or follow us on Twitter at SPTV_UWSP. Also visit the UWSP homepage to locate all your Pointer athletics information. And just remember, fellow Pointers, here at Final Take, anything Pointers, anything sports.